Welcome to episode 0 of High Hopes and Dreams. This is my new YouTube channel where I'm going to share you my adventures as I travel across the country, one new city every month or so. How did this come to be? Well, as I rounded out my 20s, I realized that my life was starting to get pretty boring and slower paced than I would like. I'd been working and living in the same area I was born and raised, mostly to build my career, and I realized now is the time to move on. I found a new job. I pitched the idea to my boss, and since it's a remote job, it allowed me to do what I'm doing, which is travel. I thought it was a unique story, a unique journey, so I want to document this and share this with you. Episode 0 functions as a preamble, a prelude, and a precursor to explain some of this journey before you dive into the details in episodes 1, 2, 3, and beyond, where we get more into the meat of the story. But this kind of focuses more on the planning, the struggles, the challenges, and the purpose of this channel, which is, I believe, to entertain, but also to inspire, educate, enlighten, and you're going to be seeing the challenges and the issues that we have to face, not just the good times, because I don't want to be another social media channel that just makes people feel jealous and unhappy because they're not living that life. You're going to see the realism, and you'll definitely see some mistakes I've made in episodes 1, 2, and beyond. Here's a little teaser. Chose the wrong area of New York City to book. I just heard Brooklyn and I thought, okay, I'll pick a place. Turns out I chose a place far east of Brooklyn that's maybe not the safest, maybe not the most things to do, but lesson learned. You'll see the experiences and all the interesting things that'll happen from there. But this functions more about the precursor, so I do want to touch on some of the things that went into this journey. First and foremost, there was a whirlwind roller coaster of emotions and stuff that happened leading up to the actual move. All sorts of things. My landlord, he first promised that the lease would end early because he respected my journey to pursue this crazy idea, and then it seemed like he was rescinding that, and then my emotions fell again, and it seemed like I was going to have to stay another 6 months before it happened. Then it was a misunderstanding, and then after, a bunch of conversation, he was back on board. All sorts of other things happened. Saying goodbye to the friends I'd made was tough because I had a really hard time making friends and put myself out there. And finally, after a lot of effort, made a couple friends, and now I had to say goodbye to them, and that was tough. But the good thing is that, I tell myself I could still stay in touch and see them. There's other things I was worried about, but I made plans for them. Challenges that I knew could come up, but I made plans. I get back pain if the mattress is too soft. What happens if it's too soft? I can't dictate that at the Airbnb I stay. Well, I told myself, if worst comes to worst, I sleep on the floor. What about my humidifier? I can't bring back. Worst comes to worst, I'll buy one, $20-$30. And then there's budget. I'm not some millionaire, I'm not some rich person. I have to budget it in, and that's something you'll see as something I deal with as I move through this journey. Then there's other stuff I have to work on and deal with, but I believe life is to be lived. It's about enriching life, it's about passion, it's about enjoying life. And I could have stayed where I was, and I was already starting to get bored of it for a couple years, but I could have stayed there. I could have played it safe, saved up more money, grew that into more money when I retired, but it would have been too boring, too safe, too low budget. Life is not meant to just be a life where you play it super safe, you avoid risk, and you suffer. Obviously, when taking on these risks, surprises and unexpected things come up, and you'll see that, and I've already hinted at some of that, but there's also good that comes with that, and hopefully me showing you the realist parts of it, not just the good times, the highlights, could inspire you in the right way as well. Packing, planning, consolidate, all that as well. Researching a place to go to, all that was interesting experience as well. I could not believe all the crap I basically had picked up over the years, and I had to either get rid of it all or move it to my parents' place. At least, I would say probably 2 or 3 big piles of clothes I had to say goodbye to, and I moved a bunch of my Pokemon cards out. I moved a bunch of other stuff out. It's just crazy how much random stuff you accumulate over the years. And there's all sorts of other things that you just figure out in this journey or you plan for. But ultimately, I elected for a minimalist stack with what you see here, a suitcase, 5 to 10 items of each main category of clothing, t-shirts, underwear, socks and stuff, and then only 2 or 3 jeans and dress shirts and other stuff. And then I got my backpack here, which is actually too heavy, too heavy, but all sorts of random stuff in there too. We got clothes in there. We got well, why don't you just take a look? This is a little bit of a preview for episodes 1 and 2, but here we go. Basically, all sorts of random junk like electronics, chargers, battery packs, a video camera, a book, hair gel, random stuff like that, flip-flops, all in there. It's crazy how much stuff you just accumulate and can't bear to part with. And so it was a crazy experience, just packing, saying goodbye to my CrossFit gym and the people there. They did a goodbye wad to me since they'd known me for a while, and we hugged it out. A few of them I hugged it out with, and it was tough. But every chapter ends and a new chapter begins. So that's the preamble. That's why this channel exists, and hopefully you learn something from it. Hopefully you're inspired. Hopefully there's some cool things that you can figure out, maybe for your own life, or at the least you're entertained, because I have high hopes and dreams, and I hope to have a really interesting life.